Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my love and hate series where I go over everything that I love and I hate about something. And today we are talking about everything I hate about traveling with other people, especially my friends. So if you guys took a look at the Everything That I Love video, which I'll link up there, I think it's up there, it might be up there, I don't know. You guys know that I have two of my best friends actually flying in for 11 days of exploring the Thai Islands and Malaysia. So it's going to be an absolute blast, I'm sure. But one thing that I'm extremely worried about are a few things that I hate about traveling with other people. Now, okay, I'm going to go through all these things that I absolutely hate about traveling with other people, but at the very end, I'm going to go over a few things that you could do to kind of get over these things and make it a better experience. And a lot of the things that a lot of suggestions I'm going to give are going to actually fix pretty much all of these problems. So the very first thing that I absolutely hate about traveling with other people is you're on somebody else's schedule. I am a person that's always 15 to 20 minutes early for everything. If we gotta be there at 8 o'clock, I wanna be there at 7:40, 7:45 at the latest. It's just me. I have friends who think it's perfectly okay to show up 20, 25 minutes late to things all the time. Especially when you're dealing with cultural differences. For example, I traveled with a friend from Chile. My God, like she was late to everything all the time, and it absolutely drove me nuts. But it's a cultural thing there, especially in South America. A lot of my South American friends, they think I be tripping when I'm trying to show up early, but it's just one of those things that, you know, it's a cultural thing and a personal thing as well. The next thing I hate is trying to balance different interests, especially if you're close friends with somebody who's not like you. Personally, I keep a group of friends that are very diverse and different than me. It's just kind of the way it worked out for me. So a lot of my friends don't have the same interests that I have. But I love them and we want to travel together, interact and spend time together. So if you're traveling with somebody who doesn't enjoy museums, for example, like I do, or you're traveling with somebody who doesn't enjoy beaches, which I don't, it could cause conflicts and issues, especially when you're going to an entire country, you're doing these long trips. For example, I'm a big city boy. I absolutely love big cities. Germany is a great example. I absolutely love Berlin, but I'm not a big fan of smaller cities like Hamburg. So it's kind of like you have to find that balance, unfortunately, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Like there's some things that I just don't want to do and I won't do, and it becomes an issue. It can become a problem. The next thing that I hate about traveling with other people is I think you become more introverted. You guys probably could tell I'm an extremely extroverted person. I love interacting with different people. I love making new friends. I love talking. I love talk. This is my thing. But when you're in a group, when you're traveling with somebody, it kind of becomes you. You guys become the nucleus, especially if you're a couple, if you're dating. It's just about you because you guys are trying to coordinate everything. You guys might be getting on each other's nerves, so you guys might be working through that. He might have pissed you off or she might have pissed you off, so then you're already in a bad mood and you don't want to deal with other people. I think it's just inherently these little groups, they form. This is our bubble, this is our experience, and nobody else can get into that. Especially when it comes to dating. I've seen this a million times. When you have people who travel together, and you know, I'm sorry ladies, this is kind of your thing, this is on you, because I don't think us guys really have this issue. And again, I've seen this a million times, and ladies, comment below, don't go in on me. I've seen groups of females where there's, you know, 2 girls or there's 3 girls, and then there's one girl getting all the attention from guys or whoever, and then the other girl or the other 2 girls get upset or they get jealous or pissed off, and then it causes this rift or this issue. I've seen that a lot, actually. I've seen that quite a bit. That's something that you really need to think about and you definitely need to consider. Actually, I'm going to go into that later. So to kind of piggyback off that, in my love video, I actually mentioned that there's safety in numbers. A lot of times when people see, 2 or 3 people traveling together, they won't trust some shit. But there's a flip side to that. People actually feel a lot less comfortable with approaching you or approaching a group. It's kind of like the club theory. It's like when you have a guy at the bar by himself and he sees a group of 3 girls or 4 women, it's a little more difficult for him to approach somebody within that group that he likes or he wants to interact with or talk to, as opposed to if she was by herself and he was by himself. So it makes it a little difficult, especially in travel. It's kind of funny. I tend to adopt people, even when I'm traveling with my friends in a group. If I see somebody by themselves, that's the person I want to go talk to and interact with. In hindsight, I think I might piss people off, but people feel a lot less comfortable approaching you if you're in a group of people, especially if you have that kind of that barrier up a little bit where you're not even surveying the room or paying attention to other people in the room, where it's just you and the other person. So so this is something that really bothers me because I think a lot of people fall into this trap. Personally, for me, in my opinion, I think travel is one of the best ways to kind of discover who you are, who you want to be outside of the trappings of your environment. I think we're all indoctrinated to a certain extent by our family, our friends, our schools, our religion, whatever. They give you these set norms that you have to stick into, and if you break out of those, you're weird or you're judged. And even subconsciously, you tiptoe the line, trying not to offend anybody or trying not to go against the family or your community. When you have somebody that's a friend who comes from the same background and community, you're going to feel a little less free to kind of explore who you are, what you believe in, outside of that social construct, because you literally brought the construct with you. You brought the oppression, you brought the closed-mindedness, and this is this is not necessarily specifically picking on anybody, but this is just you're bringing that indoctrination with you. So this is one of my biggest issues with travel, with friends, especially people from your same background, in your neighborhood, your family, your community, is you're bringing that same structure with you. So are you really changing? That's the question. And I think it's an issue because you don't get the full experience out of travel that you should be. You don't have the opportunity to kind of develop more distinctive characteristics about yourself, to kind of push those out. And that, I absolutely hate that. I just think that is a disservice to yourself. I don't think this is really a hate. This is just an observation. I think travel is dangerous to friendships, very dangerous to friendships. I mentioned earlier that in travel, you just don't, you spend so much more time with a person than you do in the everyday life. And I firmly believe in this idea that most friendships are friendships by proxy or by proximity. Your friends, think about the friends that you have in your life. They are your friends largely because they are in a similar place. You go to the same school, you grew up in the same neighborhood, your siblings, it's by proximity. You didn't really choose them. They were just put there, and out of convenience, you became friends with that person. And a lot of times we overlook, and this is one of the issues that I have with people who turn a blind eye to bullshit that their family pulls. You're forced into accepting all of those disgusting things about a person. But with travel, you don't have to, because you don't have you don't have an escape. You have no way to get away from it. You have no way to turn a blind eye to it because it's always in your face. So if you're being honest, you're being real, travel is going to expose that stuff. When you're back home, it's easy to kind of look past it a little bit because you just don't see it all the time. But when you're traveling with somebody and God forbid they're an asshole who just talks down on people, you're going to see that all day, every day. There's somebody who's an elitist. You're going to see that absolutely every single day. If they're a racist, if you're a homophobe, if they're xenophobic, you're going to see that all day. So I think the travel is fatal. It can be just as much as it is beneficial to friendships, it can be fatal to friendships. So that was all the things that I absolutely hate about traveling with somebody else. But what I want to do is I want to close this video out with a few tips to help you get over a lot of this stuff and to make your experience traveling with somebody else amazing. I think it really is fucking amazing to travel with somebody who's on the same wavelength and to have these experiences, which is why I've always thrown out this invite to my friends and my family, even a lot of my readers and viewers. A lot of people probably can comment to this. If you send me a message, say, yo, Eric, I'm in Barcelona, I'm in Bangkok, I'm in Prague, I'm in Austin, I see you're here, can we get together for a drink or a chat? I almost always say yeah, if I'm able to actually hook up with you or make it. So one of the very first things that you can do to make sure that your experience is great is to travel with somebody who has a similar budget as you. Or a travel style. Yeah, and I'll step back. I'll take out budget and I'll say travel style. Only because you can kind of work your way around that budget issue if you're traveling as a team together. There's no worse feeling than when your friend can afford or wants to stay in 5-star hotels and you're on a backpacker's budget. I have seen this a million times where somebody's like, I ain't staying in no hostel. I'm like, all right, for me, I could do everything, but a lot of people are so rigid that they just can't do it. I've seen so many trips ruined and just destroyed by this exact situation. So fine, and if they're that kind of person, be upfront before you even go. Be like, look, we're gonna stay in hostels, and I don't want to hear bullshit. I don't want to hear your mouth about it. Or compromise. We can stay in hostels, but you can get a private room. Or we can do 2 days in a hostel, 2 days in a hotel, 2 days in an Airbnb, stuff like that. You guys might remember I traveled with my friend through Europe, Tony. Me and Tony have very similar travel styles, so super easy. Sometimes we stayed in hostels, we stayed in hotels, we stayed in Airbnbs throughout the time we traveled together. So it's very important to find somebody who has that similar travel style as you. This could be a lifesaver, and I firmly advocate this for couples because I actually travel with my girlfriend as well. You have to schedule time apart from each other. I ruined a relationship because I didn't take this advice years ago. You have to have those times apart. If you're traveling for a week together, take a day or two to just do your own thing, to get away from the other person, because it is an absolute drain on relationships sometimes to be around. I just don't think it's natural to be around somebody 24/7. Even if you live together back home, you're not together 24/7. When you travel, you are together 24/7. So put this in your schedule, like, yo, I'm going to go to the museum for today and cafes and do my thing. You can go to the beach and do your thing. And make sure you're not offended by that in a way where you're just clear about it. Like, look, I love you. I appreciate you're my homie, whatever, but I got to do my own thing. I need Eric time, or Susie, or Mike, or Steve, or Ann, whatever time you need to yourself. And they should understand that. If they don't, just don't travel with that person. So this next one is going to be tough for a lot of people. And it's still tough for me. You got to leave your ego at home. And when I say ego, it's not all about you. When you make that choice to travel with somebody else, it's the collective. It's you and that other person. Of course, you can make decisions that you feel are right, decisions that keep you from going crazy, just like I just said, schedule that time apart. But you have to make sure that you're open to compromise. You have to be open to compromise in travel, especially when you're traveling places like Europe, Southeast Asia, where there's so many different options. For example, we were going to go, I didn't even mention this video. Two of my best friends are coming. Follow me on Instagram stories. It's going to be a great time. So I was in charge of creating an itinerary for the 11 days. There are a few things that Brandon said, look, we have to do this. And Anna said, hey, we have to do this. So I'm trying to and then for me, a lot of the stuff that I've done before, I'm like, shit, I don't want to spend $200 on this because I've done it a million times already. But I understand that it's important to them. It's their first trip, so it's not about me. I have to do these things because these are my friends. I care about them. I want them to have a great experience, even though it's going to cost me extra money that I do not want to spend on this. But you know, that goes to just, you got to look beyond yourself when it comes to travel. You just got to leave that ego aside sometimes. Okay, this next one is, it's going to be tough. It's tough, especially if you're going to go to places like Ibiza, if you're going to go to Berlin, if you're coming to Thailand, if you're going to pretty much anywhere in South America. Every night, try to pick somebody who's a designated driver or a DD or a DW, designated walker. Somebody whose job it is to make sure that you get your ass home safely. And again, I hate to keep bringing up you ladies, but this goes double for you guys. The reality is, it is dangerous in a lot of places for women. There are just some shitty dudes out there who are willing to do some shitty things to women. And you gotta have somebody looking out for you. So if it's 3 of you, one person's gotta take it easy on the drinks and make sure everybody gets home safe. Once upon a time, I didn't drink. A lot of people, given how much I drink now, a lot of people find it amazing or fascinating that I don't drink. I didn't drink until I was about 30. So I've only been drinking for a few years now. And I was that guy. And I was perfectly okay with it. And when you guys pick that DD or whoever's job it is to make sure that you all get home safe, don't make that person pay for anything. You take care of the cabs, you take care of the dinner for that person. Next day, you make sure they get breakfast because you probably did some stupid shit. You gotta, look out for that DD person. And my friends, I never even had to ask. This was just kind of an inherent thing within my group. When I was in the military, I'm kind of proud to say that when I was in the military, over 10 and a half years, nobody ever got a DWI. Nobody ever got in trouble for alcohol-related incidents. Nobody ever got, well, we did get into fights, but nobody ever got arrested because I was sober. I was always sober. I made sure everything was taken care of. So always take care of that person and be careful. Now, I'm not saying don't drink or have fun, but I'm just saying take it easy to make sure the collective group is looked out for. And the very last thing, and to me, this is probably the biggest thing. Just go into this, like the planning stage, the actual experience of traveling together. Just go into it looking to enjoy yourself. Just try to have fucking fun, So many people may travel into this competition where you got to see everything, you got to do everything. And I know that's funny coming from somebody who's trying to go to every country in the world, but it's fun. Travel's fun. Like, if you're going to sit on the beach for 5 days, fuck it, sit on the beach for 5 days. Just don't think too much about it. Just remember how much fun travel is and the reasons you're getting out there with your friends. That is probably the underlying most important thing. So that's my hate video about everything that I hate about traveling with other people, especially friends. And a few tips for you guys to kind of get over these things and to kind of make this experience a really good experience. I'm absolutely jazzed up. This video goes up probably Friday. I think they're here. They're probably here now. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. Make sure you follow my Instagram stories and let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And make sure you guys are working to leave the world better than you found it. I know I am. I will see you guys in the next video.